Chairs No Waiting, episode number 565, the eBullet, January 2020. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at WeaversDepartmentStore.com. Drop by over at Weavers and check out some of the great Mayberry items they have there. They got some brand new, exclusive currently to Weavers. They got a 1960s TV Mayberry with Barney, Andy, and Opie on it. Great shirt. They got a sweatshirt just like it, so if you're cold, you can get that. They also got a Andy Griffith Photo Collage t-shirt. There's 7 total brand new shirts. Head over to Weaver's Department Store and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by the executive producer of tonight's episode, Sarah Blaine. Thank you, Sarah. She's our Miss Mayberry at Mayberry Days and at the Mayberry Meetups. Good to have you, Sarah, as our executive producer. Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Newsome, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting, and it's great to be here in Mayberry with you, as I am almost every week. It's always fun to be here and visit with you and just talk Mayberry because, wow, you know, the week goes by. There's so much stuff that goes on that you have to deal with work, family, whatever it might be, that it's just nice, isn't it, to just step back and be able to just go into Mayberry for just a little while. And that's what I hope I'm able to do for you from time to time here on the show when you're able to watch or listen, whichever you might be doing. I really do. It's therapeutic, as the Barney would say. Well, folks, we're going to be going through the eBullet, and then we're going to have at the end of the show, we'll have a weekly report that we have from Randy Turner with This Week in Mayberry History. So we're going to hear from him. But first, we're going to go through the eBullet. So I'm going to get us a little background music from the VW Boys. A little Mockingbird. The VW Boys at VWBoys.com. A fixture at Mayberry Days for years. Great guys. I know you'd love them. So let's go head on over to the eBullet. And if you don't know what the eBullet is, boy, I'm sorry to hear about that. The eBullet is the official newsletter of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club. Yeah, that's TAGSRWC. It's not easy to say, but it's the official newsletter. It's free. All you got to do is head over to imayberry.com, and there's a link right at the top of the page telling you how to subscribe so that you can get this delivered directly to your mailbox, your inbox on your email when a new issue comes out. This issue hit the streets on January the 14th. Of 2020. So this is a little snapshot for you of all the cool things that are going on in and around Mayberry in 2020. So let me just head into this. Jim Clark, thank you for allowing us to use this content on the podcast and to share it with many Mayberry fans as we can. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. So if you'd like to know more about the eBullet, please head over to imayberry.com and click on the eBullet link for more information. Welcome to the first issue in this special anniversary year for the Andy Griffith Show. It's shaping up to be an exciting year for Mayberry fans with a fun variety of events and new merchandise, including 7 brand new officially licensed Andy Griffith Show t-shirts, which are exclusive to Weavers. That's just all in this month in January. And you can even get a taste of Mayberry more this year as new officially licensed food products. That's right. Food items from Mayberry's Finest will be joining their coffee and bacon in the next few weeks. But most of all, it's all the events with fans and members of the cast and crew and their families that are central to Mayberry activities year in and year out. Most especially September 30th anniversary of Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina, but also a few newer traditions such as Mayberry in the Midwest and Danville in May. It's going to be another really fun year in Mayberry. So let's head over to Floyd's Barbershop Bulletin Board and event calendar to get just a taste of what's coming. I'm not going to read it all to you, folks. You need to head over and check this out at imayberry.com and click the eBullet link. We just missed it as we record this. Just in the last week, Thelma Lou did a event at the Andy Griffith Museum, signing autographs back on January the 17th. But she does it every month at the Andy Griffith Museum. So make sure you make plans to try to go there in the months. I'll tell you that in February, it's going to be on the 21st. So it's the third Friday of the month, every month. So make plans to go see Betty if you're in the area and get an autograph, get your picture made with her. Now, before then, on February the 2nd, Karen Knotts will be having a Tied Up in Knots show in Sherman Oaks, California, for first of 3 performances that night. She's not doing them all that night, but it'll be 3 performances in February and March. Showtime is 7:30 on February the 2nd. And, head over and check it out in the eBullet. You head over there and look if you need more information. As I said, Betty will be at the Andy Griffith Museum on the 21st. Roland White, you remember Roland? He was one of the country boys that played over at the barbershop with Leroy McNeese. Well, Roland and his band will be performing at 9 o'clock. That's at night. At the Station Inn in Nashville. That's on February the 22nd. And then we're going to skip around a little bit. This is one I'm going to be able to go to myself, so I'm excited about it. March the 5th through the 7th will be the 23rd annual George Lindsay UNA Film Festival in Florence, Alabama. So for more information, you can head over to lindsayfilmfest.com and get more information. I will tell you that I got exciting news. It's not in the eBullet, but I break it with you, that the Mayberry Effect documentary about the Andy Griffith Show and the fans and how it's impacted culture and that kind of thing, it will be one of the finalists at the George Lindsay UNA Film Festival. So it's going to be a part of the film festival. I know myself and Ken Junkin, Otis, we'll both be at the film festival along with Chris, the fellow who made the movie. Come on over to the film festival. You'd like to check it out and see it and support Chris Hudson and all the stuff he's been doing, trying to bring a little bit more Mayberry to us all at the George Lindsay UNA Film Festival, 5 through 7 March of 2020. Betty Lynn's going to be back at the museum on March the 20th, signing autographs at the Andy Griffith Museum. You can go to andygriffithmuseum.org to get information about that. Maggie Peterson is among the guests for the Missouri Cherry Blossom Festival in Marshfield, Missouri on April the 23rd through the 25th. So you can go see Maggie if you're in that area. The 7th annual Mayberry in the Midwest Festival, it'll be held May 15th through the 17th of 2020. Special guests are yet to be announced, but a full slate of Mayberry tribute artists will be on hand, and there's always plenty of musical entertainment and assorted contests and fun stuff to do there at Mayberry in the Midwest. Of course, there's always the Mayberry Squad Car National as part of Mayberry in the Midwest, so you can come and check that out and head over to the Mayberry Cafe that's right there on the corner. So it's a great event if you haven't been able to go. It's in Danville, Indiana. I definitely will encourage you. You can go to mayberryinthemidwest.com for more information. Again, in June on the 19th, Betty Lynn's going to be greeting fans at the Andy Griffith Museum. Now, here's an event that is not in the eBullet that I wanted you to know about. Mule Day in Gordo, Alabama will be on June the 6th. And I think the day before that as well. That's the Saturday. So the 5th and 6th, so it's Friday evening, and then Saturday in Gordo, Alabama. And they're having a lot of Mayberry tribute artists there. They're even going to have Festus and Doc from Gunsmoke will also be there at the Mule Days Festival. I know I'm looking forward to it. Floyd will be there. I know Andalina, she's going to be there, and maybe some of the other tributes as well. So that's being worked by Otis himself, Kenneth Junkin. That's his hometown. So we'll keep you apprised of that as the year passes along here. July the 17th. That's a big weekend, guys. Start planning now, because July 17th through the 19th is the 8th annual Mayberry Meetup in Mount Airy, North Carolina. So it's a great chance to go and visit with fellow Mayberry fans and enjoy Mount Airy a less hectic time than Mayberry Days in September. You'll have plenty of time to go over to the Andy Griffith Museum on the 17th, which is the first day of the meetup. See how clever that is that we do it that weekend? Because Betty Lynn will be there signing autographs. And then on Saturday, the 18th, Neil Brower will be in town. So you'll be able to go to Neil Brower's class as well and be a part of his lecture that he will do on Saturday at the museum. So it's a great weekend. We had about somewhere around 150 people there last year. If you're interested in going, you can head over to the eBullet and look at what's happening there. And it doesn't cost anything. There's no charge. Of course, unless you have to stay at a hotel or eat or anything like that, that'll charge you. But there's no charge for the coming to the meetup. There are charges, obviously, to go to the museum and to Neil's lecture and those kind of things, and to get autographs from Betty. But it's a great event. It's a lot of fun. It's turned into a lot more than we ever thought it would. The 8th annual Mayberry Meetup. All right. So, as I said, July the 18th, that's when Neil will be giving his lecture, and he's going to do it on Hot Rod Otis, by the way. And then in the evenings, we'll watch episodes of the Andy Griffith Show together. Neil's also going to be doing his lecture on the 15th of August. So if you're in the Mount Airy area, it'll be on the Bookie Barber there at the Andy Griffith Museum. You can check out andygriffithmuseum.org to get all that information. All right, so we'll head on over and give you the big one. September the 21st through the 27th is the 31st annual Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina. Already scheduled to be there are Betty Lynn, that's Thelma Lou, Darling Boy Rodney Dillard, and the Dillard Band. Ronnie Shell, he was Duke Slater on Gomer Pyle, and he was on the Andy Griffith Show twice as well. And Karen Knotts. They're already signed up to be there. Many more stars and concerts and presentations will be announced, I'm sure, before it gets here. Get your tickets early for the best seats to what promises to be a banner Mayberry Days. Wow, the 31st annual here on the 60th anniversary of the Andy Griffith Show. Wow, big, big, big. So make sure you get a hotel room quick because they'll sell out fast. All right, so October the 3rd is the 60th anniversary of the airing of the very first episode of the Andy Griffith Show. We'll have to do something special when that comes around. On November the 1st to the 7th, Clint Howard, Ron Howard's little brother, and Leon on the Andy Griffith Show will be the special guest for the Cruise to Mayberry number 15. That's going into the Eastern Caribbean aboard Carnival's Breeze. Also on board will be a boatload of popular Mayberry tribute artists and even Elvis. An Elvis impersonator, tribute artist, will be there with us. It's going out at Fort Lauderdale. It's a little further away, but since it's the 60th anniversary and the 15th anniversary of the actual Mayberry cruise, it's going to be a little bit longer this year. So it's a 6-day or 7-day. I don't know which that is. 7-day cruise, 1st through the 7th. It's going to be longer. It's going to be fun. More Mayberry fun for all. Okay. All right. So that's just some of the events that we already know about that are coming up. So let's look at just a little bit of the news of cast and crew that Jim Clark worked so hard to put together for us in the eBullet. Ron Howard is executive producer of 68 Whiskey, a TV series with its premiere on the Paramount Network on January the 15th. Ron also has just finished producing and directing a documentary, Rebuilding Paradise, about the aftermath of the devastating Paradise Camp Fire. That fire back in 2018. The film is set to premiere at the Sundance Film Festival on January the 23rd. Among dozens of other projects that Ron and his Imagine Entertainment have in various stages of development is Hillbilly Elegy, which Ron produced and directed for Netflix. It's in post-production with expected release date this year. Ron's also working with George Lucas to develop a Willow TV series based on the often underrated 1988 film, which Ron directed for George Lucas. Betty Lynn continues to greet fans and sign autographs and at the Andy Griffith Museum in Mount Airy on Friday, every third Friday of the month. Maggie Mancuso, that's Maggie Peterson, Charlene Darling herself, she's recovering from a couple of falls that she experienced at home in November and December. And these are in addition to a fall she had when she was running to the elevator in Knoxville in September trying to get to the elevator. Maggie was scheduled to be a part of last month's Mayberry Christmas shows with her brother, her TV brother, Rodney Dillard, but had to cancel. Maggie's hoping to be fully healed up and back on the truck and back to full speed and watching her step, by the way, by springtime, in time for several appearances and performances she's planning to attend beginning in April. Also in the men is our buddy Dennis Rush. That's Howie, Opie's buddy Howie, that was helping him having him sell Miracle Salve and make the newspaper out of his garage. Dennis Rush, who started the year with a blood clot moving from his leg into a lung. Oh my goodness. He's recovering and has appreciated all the well wishes. It probably goes without saying that he has more than an ample supply of Miracle Salve on hand to treat this. So he's doing well. Keith Thibodeau, Johnny Paul Jason, and his wife, Kathy, their ballet Magnificat, I hope I say that right. It's a Christian ballet company, toured from Texas to West Virginia and other points in the Southeast during the holiday season. They're also gearing up to tour Israel in March and a European tour in April and May. Wow. Here's some big news you may or may not have heard. Shoes and rice time for Margaret Carey. That's right, Margaret Carey, who played Bess Muggins, and she also played Helen Scobie. She's tying the knots with old beau that she had named Bob Boke, I think is how you say his name. It's Boeke. On Valentine's Day, they're getting married. That's right, the two dated in their late teens before careers separated them and led them in different directions, including marriages and families and full lives. They reconnected last year and then saw each other again for the first time in 7 decades at September's Mayberry Days, where the spark of their young love reignited. Best wishes to the happy couple, who are proving not only that love don't hold a stopwatch, both are in their 90s, but also that love also doesn't have a calendar. That is, other than maybe a 2020 Mayberry calendar. Joy Ellison, who was Effie Muggins and Mary Wiggins, among other characters she played, she is working as a dialect coach for 2-time Oscar nominee Jessica Chastain for her lead role as Tammy Faye Baker in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which has been filming in North Carolina and is expected to be released by Fox Searchlight Pictures this year. We haven't asked who's handling the makeup for the film. We haven't asked that. Maggie Peterson, Ronnie Shell, Jackie Joseph, Keith Thibodeau, and Clint Howard are the Andy Griffith Show cast members who are expected to join Karen Knotts, George Lindsay Jr., and others, including popular Mayberry tribute artists, in Mayberry Man, an independent film written by and directed by Stark Howell, the son of Lake Hoke Howell, Mayberry's Dud Wash. Court Howell, Stark's brother, and Greg Shell, son of Ronnie, are helping produce and promote the film. It's a fan-based fundraising. It has officially kicked off with launch parties in Burbank, Mount Airy, and Danville, Indiana, with filming expected to start in the spring. So fingers crossed that they meet their funding goals and can actually make the movie and everything goes good. One last item that has been hitting the web. Echoes of Mayberry maestro Earl Hagen's beloved Andy Griffith Show theme have found their way into commercial pop culture once again in the ice fishing ad with Matthew McConaughey for Lincoln Aviator. Just in case there are visitors from another planet who haven't yet seen this, and more importantly, actually heard the commercial, it's getting widespread play right now. If you go to the eBullet, if you go to imayberry.com, click on the eBullet and go to the January 2020 one, scroll down, there's a link here to actually play the commercial so you can hear it and see it for yourself with him whistling the theme to the Andy Griffith Show during the commercial. So, wow, thank you so much, Jim. In Mayberry Memorandum, we have to say farewell to Cousin Virgil. Michael J. Pollard passed away of a heart attack in Los Angeles on November the 20th. He was 80 years old. Michael played the memorable characters, many of them, during his distinctive career, including a role of Barney's cousin Virgil in an episode called Cousin Virgil, which was episode 62 of the Andy Griffith Show. Virgil was one of the few single episode characters on the Andy Griffith Show whose name was included in the episode title. He was born, Michael J. Pollard was born on May 20th, 1939 in New Jersey to parents of Polish heritage. Sonia, a homemaker, and Michael Sr., who worked long hours as a bar manager. He grew up in nearby towns of Clifton and Garfield, and he graduated from Montclair Academy, a private school in neighboring Montclair. I'm not going to read the entire article to you. It's very long and detailed and extremely good. Thank you to Jim Clark for writing this article. Please go to the eBullet. If you click the eBullet link at imayberry.com, you can go and see some of the characters that he played, including on Star Trek, the original series. He was on there. He was on Bonnie and Clyde. So many things that he appeared in. We cannot possibly go over it here. But thank you so much, Michael Pollard, for all the joy and fun that you gave us over the years. I will go in here and say that Michael survived by his daughter, Holly, from his first marriage to Beth Holland. She was the waitress Vera on TV's Alice, you might remember. That was his first marriage. And a son, Alex Emmett, from his second marriage to Annie Tolstoy. So we are sad to see you go. And thank you so much for the memories, Mr. Pollard. Thank you. All right, so chapter updates. We didn't have any this month, or this time. Between the last eBullet and this eBullet, there were no new chapters created. But we had a flurry of new chapters in 2019, so thanks to those. We're up to 1,466 chapters that have been founded since 1979. Wow, that's big. There's merchandise update information as we talk about stuff at Weaver's. If you just head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com, you'll see that. Or if you go through the eBullet, you'll see it. We got all kinds of cool stuff in here, including zip-up hoodies, fleece blankets. Oh, they've been redesigned, and they are really soft, the fleece blankets. Wow, they're really nice. And, of course, you got the Mayberry's Finest. We got smoked bacon, the country bacon, and pepper bacon, and along with the coffee. All kinds of cool stuff. Go and check it out at Weaver's. Let's head over to some chapter news, and then we'll start wrapping this up. Our Andy chapter headquarters in Nashville heard from dozens of chapters during the holidays. From all the reports, everything is A-OK in Mayberry. The Nashville contingent was able to get together with some members of the We the People and Barney chapter, both of Greensboro. I don't think I knew about the We the People. We the People. That's a great name. Both of Greensboro, North Carolina, as well as the Sarah chapter from Charlotte, North Carolina, during the holidays. That is so great. Members of Blood Brothers chapter in Macon, Missouri, had a meeting in both November and December. And there's photos of those meetings. Wow, that is great. Chapters are getting together and just having a great time. And if you know if the Blood Brothers gets 2 photos in an issue of the eBullet, then the Mayberry chapter from Knoxville, Tennessee, they're going to want equal time. So Jim made sure he got their 2 most recent meeting photos in the eBullet as well. The Mayberry chapter is working on their next issue of their printed newsletter. It's called the Mayberry Minutes, which is expected to be published in the next few weeks. It's going to come out in the next few weeks. And as this issue of the eBullet was about to be published, a few chapters were planning to attend one of the launch parties that happened in Danville and Mount Airy for the Mayberry Man movie. We'll have coverage of that in our next issue. Well, that's about it for that. And I wanted to mention, too, there's all kinds of stuff going on Mayberry on the internet. The iMayberry community. It's the Andy Griffith Show online group that is organized and overseen by me, Alan Newsom, and a lot of help from Keith Brown, Colonel Harvey. You may have seen him at Mayberry events. You can check it out at iMayberry Community, and it was just updated, so it should all work a lot better. So you can head over to iMayberry. It's the letter I, Mayberry Community, and go over and check it out. There's all kinds of stuff. You just go to imayberry.com. You'll get all this kind of information that Jim shares about all our online activities. I think I have links to almost everything on there, with the exception of some of our Facebook groups. So I'll mention the Gomer and Goober Pile Comic Book Literary Guild. The Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club is online on Facebook, and you'll hear from Randy Turner in just a minute. So that's great. So if you ever miss out on any of this information, there are archives of the eBullets going back years. So you can go and check it out. There's also the Who's Been Messed Up the Bulletin Board Digest. It gets an email every day from the members that send in stuff. And of course, there's all kinds of fun stuff online. Folks, that is the eBullet. That's not all of it. You got to go and check it out and read the eBullet for yourself. It's great stuff. Thank you to Jim Clark. Great, great job that you always do putting this newsletter together and working so hard for us as fans of the Andy Griffith Show. Well, friends, we now are to that time that you all enjoy. You get to hear from Randy Turner with This Week in Mayberry History.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Goober Pile Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Margaret Maggie Peterson was born on January the 10th, 1941 in Greeley, Colorado, an hour north of Denver. Maggie was actually mentioned as one of the subjects of my second report for this podcast, way back on January the 16th, 2017. But due to the way I first did the reports, only a single paragraph was mentioned about her at the time. While Maggie's father was a doctor, she has said many of her earliest memories involved music. When she was still a child, one of her older brothers in junior high school formed a band with two other neighborhood boys, playing primarily Dixieland. Maggie pestered her brother to sing with the band, and when Maggie turned 12, he finally gave in. They named their new group the Ja-Da Quartet and began playing around Greeley for churches and civic organizations like the Rotary Club. After they won a 1954 talent contest held by the local Kiwanis Club, they were booked to perform at a convention that same year, which is ultimately responsible for Maggie eventually becoming Charlene Darling. The convention was being held by Capitol Records, and by the way, was held at the historic Stanley Hotel in Colorado, which would later inspire Stephen King to write The Shining. At that point, Richard Dick Link was employed by Capitol Records and had just obtained the rights to re-release Andy Griffith's regional hit comedy record, What It Was Football, on the national label. On January the 4th, 1954, Dick had also become Andy's manager while still continuing to work for Capitol. As a result, Dick attended the 1954 convention in Colorado. In the course of the event, he saw the young Ja-Da Quartet perform, fronted by the then 13-year-old Maggie. He first spoke to her parents and then told her to look him up if she ever got to New York. 2 years later, the Ja-Da Quartet appeared on the national talent show program, Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts, and won. 2 more years later, after Maggie graduated from high school, in 1958, the quartet made the trip to New York partially to connect with Dick Link, assuming he was still with Capitol Records. However, he had left the record company the previous year to concentrate full-time on managing Andy's career. Still, they did succeed in connecting with him, and he also became their manager. The renamed Margaret Ann and the Ja-Da Quartet were soon performing locally and appearing on television shows, such as the Perry Como Show and the Gary Moore Show. They were even regulars for a season of the Pat Boone Show. In 1959, they released an album, but disbanded shortly afterward when Maggie's brother decided he wanted to attend college. He eventually became a physician, by the way. Andy Griffith was also recording albums during the same time period, such as his 1958 comedy album, Just for Laughs, and his 1959 album of music, Andy Griffith Shouts the Blues and Old-Time Songs. As both of them were being managed by Dick Link, Maggie had already met Andy at this point. After Margaret Ann and the Jada Quartet broke up, Dick arranged for Maggie to front another group, a jazz trio, which was then renamed Margaret Ann and the Ernie Mariani Trio. They played the top resorts all over the country, including in Las Vegas, Reno, and Lake Tahoe, where Frank Sinatra and members of the Rat Pack often took in their shows. As fate would have it, Sheldon Leonard, the creator of the upcoming new series to be called The Andy Griffith Show, and Aaron Rubin, who had been brought into the new show as a producer and the series story consultant, were in the audience at a performance by Margaret Ann and the Ernie Mariano Trio in Scottsdale, Arizona, and thought the band's lead vocalist might be a possible candidate to play the first love interest of Sheriff Andy Taylor in the series that was set to begin filming in July of 1960. We'll continue learning of Maggie's road to becoming Charlene Darling next week. That's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening. And remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Well, thank you, Randy. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any of the great information Randy provides about the Andy Griffith Show, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com. turnersgrade@gmail.com. All right. So I did have a voicemail from this week. Let's see if I can get this to play for me. Let's see here. This is from our friend Sarah, Miss Mayberry herself. So let's play it here.
Sarah playing Miss Mayberry, Season 4, on the episode of the Shoplifters. Mr. Weaver is wearing the same tie Gomer wears in A Date for Gomer. I love your podcast. You do a great job with member events. Keep up your podcast.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. That is true. Mr. Weaver was wearing the same tie that Gomer wore. And Gomer wore it when he was going out with Mary Grace, and Mr. Weaver is wearing it on the Shoplifter. And that was covered way back on episode number 241 of Two Chairs No Waiting. It was a listener feedback episode 241. And there was one other time I talked about this, but I could not run it down because I found another character also wearing that shirt, and I could not, or that tie, and I couldn't find it. I know it's online somewhere in on the Facebook page, but I just could not find it. So if you guys remember where that was, let me know. There's Randy talking to me here. Let's see. So if you get to see that, let me know. I'll be looking around in the chat room, not the chat room, in the thing to try to see that. So Sarah, thanks for calling in and bringing that up. All right, folks, that is all I have for you for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast and gotten some good information out of everything that we've talked about here, and maybe you just got a little bit of the Mayberry spirit. I encourage you once again to go over to imayberry.com, click on the link to the bullet. Now it's real easy to see. It's called eBullet. It's not the bullet, eBullet. If you click it, it'll take you right to the latest edition of the bullet. So go there and check it out, and you can read the one we just talked about, and you'll be ready to go. All right. So I think that's about it, folks. I'd love to hear from you. Let me hear what you think about the podcast or what you think could be done better. Getting a new host is not an option unless one of you guys want to start doing it. But if you have other suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415. You can email me at floyd@imayberry.com, or just however you'd like to get in touch with me. There's lots of stuff. You go to twochairsnowaiting.com. There's a lot of ways you can get in touch with me there. So, folks, until next week, have a great Mayberry week, and we'll see you right here on Two Chairs.